Hey, what up, everybody? What up, everybody? Let me get to the spot. Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Plan Your Greatness, and I am your gracious host, Carlton Hamilton. And let's get started today. Today is day 41 of my insanity journey. God, that's 41 days down. What's going on? Good morning, Jim. Good to see you up and about. Yes, today is day 41 of my insanity journey. And get out there off my screen. And so I've got 19 more days to go. So this has been a good thing. I'm taking pictures so you'll be able to see the body, this whole body positivity thing they got going on right now. But you'll see the results of all the work I've done. You've seen this body get back in shape. And I won't stop at 60. I'm just going to keep on going. But 60 is the marker where, you know, when you do the insanity workout, where you're going to make this body transformation. And of course, I'm not 20 something years old and my metabolism isn't as high as it used to be. So I'm going to make, you'll see the progress, but you won't see the crazy progress that you see on these videos when these people are in their, 20s and their body is just chiseling itself from just rolling around a little bit. I'm seeing the results and I'm happy with the results. That's why I know it's to reach a level of getting myself back into the shape I would like to be in. It's going to take a little bit longer, but I'm just staying very consistent with it and I'm enjoying the journey. So, all right. But as you can see, the title of this walk and talk is, what did I say? What gets measured gets done. And that came about from me starting to do a lot of reading and reading all these motivational books. And one thing I will say is I've read so many of those books that I can tell you, you really only just need to grab one of them. If you grab one of them, the principles are very much the same. But because I've read so many, I can actually say that. Most people will grab a book and think that they're going to grab another one and another one. They'll end up reading 10 of them and they will have not applied anything. So it's really about just taking the principles from one, applying them, and you'll get some results. That's what I see. But I was reading this one particular book by this professor, Dr. Dennis Kimbro. And throughout all of his writings, he used this one statement. He said, "What gets measured gets done." And then he went on to elaborate what exactly did he mean by that. And he said, basically, when you are doing something and you're trying to reach a goal, if you have some sort of daily measurement showing are you getting closer to that goal, you're more likely to reach that goal. But when a lot of people, what they do is they'll set out a goal, whether it's to save money, whether it's to get themselves in better shape, whether it's to get some more education, and they've not set out a plan with markers to measure themselves to say, okay, by the end of the year, I want to have taken X amount of courses, or I'm going to work out every day and I'm going to do X amount of workouts. And then I'm going to weigh myself at the end of the week and see if I've lost some weight, gained some weight. And then by you tracking your progress, you can go back very easily and say, okay, what did I eat this week? How much did I exercise? How much sleep did I get? And then you can look at that, and because you're measuring it, you can say, okay, I need to make sure I get a little bit better sleep. Okay, I ate a couple cheeseburgers this week. Let's make sure next week I cut that out. Add a little bit more water into my daily regimen. Anything like that, or exercise, or raise the intensity level. It becomes very easy. And because I have a background in sports, that's the easiest thing to make a comparison to, because athletes are constantly measuring themselves on how they perform on a daily basis, weekly basis, trying to improve every year. It's very easy. If you're a baseball player and you hit 300, you can go back and look at all your at-bats and you can say, okay, where did I just give up at-bats? Where I really didn't, I pulled off a ball, and then you can just go back and look through the year and you'll probably go back and say, okay, I hit 300. By those standards in professional baseball, you had a good year. But you could probably go back and look at your hitting and say, you know what? I probably gave up 20 points this year just by not approaching my hitting the way or not doing my research on pitchers. All that. There's all kinds of stuff that you could do. But again, it comes down to what gets measured gets done. When you are really paying attention and measuring yourself, because I say this all the time to people. I said, how do you know if you won that day? What type of marker do you have for yourself in life, in anything that you're doing, to tell you if you actually won that day? And the two businesses I have a smoke shop, which is doing very well right now, and I have a tax office. And those things are generated by numbers. I mean, the success of both businesses are generated by the numbers. How many people come through the door that buy something that we sell, or how many clients do we have every year that's returning, that's allowing us to prepare their taxes? It's real simple. So every year, or we've been doing this for so long with the taxes, is that we can almost tell you approximately how much we should have made by February 1st, February 15th, March 1st, because people are in cycles. And so if we're doing our advertising, we know where we should be. And if we're not there, then my business partner and I will just go back and say, okay, what are we doing? Are we reaching out to the clients? Are we getting the responses we need? What are we doing? Do we need to do some sort of incentive or whatever it is, just a phone call? If you're not measuring, if you don't know where you should be, then it's very hard for you to track your progress, and it's very hard for you to make progress. All right. So that's where I wanted to start with this, is just understanding, just kind of set the foundation for this talk. That is what gets measured gets done. Because I got a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. And you see, I got my little notes here, because I'm known for getting on these tangents as I start talking about a particular topic. I have so many stories in my life and different things. Come on now, Carl, get this piece of paper open. There you go. There you go. All right. Now, when I just think of the theme, what gets measured gets done. Now, the one thing that my business partner and I were talking about last night at the store is that there are so many of us, especially today, we have so much access to information. There is really no excuse for someone to not be successful with the amount of information that's available. And if you access that information and you put forth a daily effort in applying that information, then success really will come to you. Okay, you are acting. Well, let me make sure I say those words correctly. All right. When I say success will come to you, let me change that. You will bring success to yourself by your actions and your behaviors if you take advantage of the information that is available and you apply it. There's so much out there. Now, I'll give you like an example of a connection of a time where this information was not available, but here I am accessing it in a sort of a different format. When I was incarcerated, I ended up taking college courses. Okay, I took these correspondence courses through the television, and then I had to mail in these different things. I had to do, basically I was doing the classwork. I was watching a professor do a lecture over a television. There was no real interaction. It was just a video. So I had to pay attention to the entire lecture, and then I had the books, and then I would have to do the assignments, and then I had to mail them in. So I didn't get the instant responses or the instant feedback that you can get today when you're taking online courses or correspondence course, whatever that is. So I had to kind of wait for that, but I actually did the work. And I even had a conversation where somebody asked me about the time frame. And I said, in all the work that I did, I basically got an associate's while I was incarcerated. That associate's could be, I would say that it took me 2 years. I was locked up for, actually it took me almost 2.5 years. So the last year I wasn't taking any courses. So I got an associate's in about 2.5 years. Now, under today's access to information, I believe somebody could probably do that same program in probably about 8 or 9 months. You know, taking back to back online courses, because I was taking them under the same time frame as a traditional school semester, even though I was taking them through correspondence because I couldn't sit in the classroom because I was incarcerated. So I was a part of a classroom, but I was, you know, the professor would videotape the lectures and then they would feed them into the prison system, and I connected with that. So why I'm bringing that into the equation is the time factor that my business partner and I were talking about. And that is, people have access to information. They think that access, the speed of that access to that information is going to be like super duper speed in the process of becoming successful. Now, I'm going to say this again. You have access today to all this information, but what is not going to be substituted, that speed to that information is not going to substitute the daily grind and the time that is going to be required of you to put in to become successful. That cannot be substituted. So I'm going to say this again. You may have access to the information, but your speed, as far as how you are going to get to your goal on a daily basis, that stuff still has to be done on a daily basis. That's the part as far as that people are missing. And that's why I go back to saying what gets measured gets done, is that once you have access to that information, now you need to then measure yourself on a daily basis and say, what am I doing every day with this information that is going to make me better and allow me to reach the goal or goals that I am trying to attain, whether it's education, whether it's a financial goal, or whether it's a fitness goal. You have to put in the work. That's why I made a commitment that I was going to do this insanity program, and I was going to track myself, and I was going to be talking about it. This is day 41. And there's some research out there that says that, and I've heard conflicting numbers. You know, I've heard it's 21. I've heard 33. I even heard recently it's 66. And what do I mean by those numbers? Is that I've been told that if you do something for 21 consecutive days, or 31 consecutive days, or 66 consecutive days, you now solidified in your mind and your body as a habit. Now, I don't know. Because I've heard all three, I'll say I'll take all three. And so I've passed the 21-day mark. Okay, I've passed the 33-day mark. And by the time I finish this program, I will have done the insanity program for at least 60 days, because I'm going to hit the 60 mark and I'm just going to keep on going. The only time that I'm going to take a day off is if it's to the point where my body just says, you know what, it's time to take a rest. But I want to make sure that I was consistent for the first 60 days of this. Excuse me. My spitting, always still have that baseball spit that always comes up and every time I'm out exercising. All right, so time. Making sure that you're putting in the necessary time. Now, also yesterday I was interviewed, and I'm gonna come back. I don't have the person's name. I don't have the platform that they're on, but I believe they're on Spotify and iTunes and all the other stuff. And it was a long interview. This interview was about an hour and a half, and I had, up until this point, I have never done an hour and a half interview talking specifically about my journey, my career, and it was interesting. It was eye-opening because we started basically from the beginning. It was like I was going over my book. Shameless plug, Plan Your Greatness. The draft copy is on Amazon. There's a a Kindle. There's an ebook. And if you've picked up one of those and it didn't have the mark on it that it was a draft copy, most